Mr. Bill O'Reilly, man who loves history as much as I do. Boy, history is being made this week, is it not? So many things.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. And I ironically was asked that question about where the Declaration was signed. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I got it wrong, too. I
really?
said Idaho, and like a lot of people.
Really?
And yeah.
Huh, interesting.
But anyway, look, Kennedy was a really good man. I had an opportunity to talk with him in depth one time. We were stranded at an airport. Hang
on just a second. I just want everybody just to take a moment to think what a pleasure or a nightmare that would be, depending on your point of view, being stranded in an airport with Bill O'Reilly. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, some people went screaming from the terminal.
I would imagine, yes.
Yeah, demanded refunds.
Right.
But Kennedy was a very, he's still alive, a very deliberate guy who really loves America. I mean, it's a key to any Supreme Court justice. You really have to love what the country is and understand what it is. And you were correct, Beck, that most younger Americans, at least, don't understand it. They live in the present. It's the latest tweet that's on their mind, not much else. Right. Reading books is a burden. Even watching a television program now is, like an ordeal because it's not fast enough. It's not here enough.
Right.
So that, we have to basically sit back and say, all right, there's a struggle in the country. I mean, the reaction to Kennedy's retirement was that was the best sitcom I've seen in years last night, watching the left wing react to Kennedy's retirement. Oh, my God!
It's crazy.
Now, what's going to happen? We're going to have Francisco Franco is going to be the new Supreme Court justice. It's just insane.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy that they were talking about, I think this is the new Spanish Civil War. This came from, what's his name? Chris Matthews. You mean when the people that were against the government rose up to put Franco in? Wasn't that? I mean, that's not a good example, Chris. Your side is the bad side in that example.
They are so distraught, they being the far left, because despite the hatred and all of the stuff, I wrote a column I sent you called Virtue Fascism this week. And despite all their money and all the media that backs them and all the vitriol they spit out, they're losing. They're losing. They're losing on the political front. They're losing on now at the Supreme Court on the legal front, because this vote is going to take place. It's going to take place in September, and there's going to be another Supreme Court justice, unless somebody crazy like John McCain or somebody like this gets involved and tilts it. And I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't mean John McCain's crazy, but he hates Trump so much that he's blinded a lot of times when he goes to vote. There's going to be another traditional judge. That's what it's about, a traditional judge. Wasn't it interesting, Beck, that this week Sotomayor, the most left wing of all the Supreme Court justices, even more left than Ruth Bader Ginsburg, admitted that she dissented about the ability of a president to stop people coming here from a certain country. All right? She admitted it not based on the law, but based on that Sonia didn't like Trump's rhetoric, didn't like the way he presented the issue. The law be damned. Sonia was offended, so Sonia's going to vote against what was obviously a power the president has. It was obvious. It's there in writing. So that's what the whole thing's about. It's about you put another traditional judge on the bench, and the far left is toast on the big issues. They're not going to be able to rule on their own ideology, which is what they want.
Okay, so let's go through this here for just a second. Let's say he puts somebody on, like my favorite, Mike Lee, or somebody like that is a constitutionalist, and we can count on him. And he's a Gorsuch, which we think he is now, or a Thomas, and he becomes this stalwart for the Constitution. I think that John Roberts is the kind of guy that becomes Anthony Kennedy. I think he's Maybe, and it's a pretty good observation. I can't believe I'm actually giving you compliments today.
Well,
at least you understand my question. Sometimes you're like, I don't have any idea.
I'm not, I'm not that slow back. I can keep up. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Stu loses me, but I can keep up.
Yeah. Right.
That's what I thought.
Okay. So Roberts, he's not an ideologue like Scalia was. All right, he will go out of the box, and he did on Obamacare, and he was so wrong on Obamacare, wrong.
Clearly.
And I'm not saying that because he voted for it. I'm saying it because the law, the Constitution,
even his own opinion. You could see
was tortured.
Yeah, he rewrote it at the last minute. I mean, it was
right.
It didn't make any sense.
If you were to put Roe v. Wade in front of Roberts, you wouldn't know. I mean, you're going to know Clarence Thomas, all right?
Yep.
You're going to know Alito. They're not going to say Roe v. Wade should stand. They're just not. But you don't know Roberts. So you're right. There would be some drama. But what will never happen again is Ruth Bader Ginsburg actually saying, if you look up what she said, I don't really believe that the Constitution as written should be upheld anymore. I, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, believe it has evolved. And it has evolved into whatever I want it to be. That's how you ruin your country. That's how you wreck what has made us the most prosperous nation ever seen. That's how you ruin it. Ruth Bader Ginsburg saying, I'm going to do and rule whatever I want, and not what was written.
It's amazing.
By the founding fathers.
It's amazing to me that the left is saying that they're putting these radicals, and the radical to the left is the one that will read the Constitution as it was written. I mean, there's no way that you're going to get rid of Roe versus Wade in America all across all 50 states. However, the people in Utah and the people in, South Carolina may say, you know what? No, we don't want this here. This is not who we are. We believe it's murder. It just goes back into the hands of the states. That's what's going to happen. And they just think that is just so radical that the people would be allowed to decide if it disagrees with their position.
Because they, the far left, believe that the people should not have any say. That's the crux of the far left, that the government runs the economy, the healthcare system, the educational system, the entitlement system. It runs everything. And you, the American citizen, serve the government, not the other way around. That's what people don't understand when you look at the Rob Reiners and the CNN cadre and the NBC News executives. They believe that the government should run everything. Talk about the Bill of Rights. Okay, you know what your primary right is in their mind? To send your money and assets to them, so they can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah, this is nothing new, and I know progressives will say that's outrageous. How dare he say something like that? This is exactly
it's true, though. They can't argue against it.
It is
their philosophy of socialism, their philosophy of basically income redistribution. All of these things, Obamacare, come back to the government calls the shots, not the citizens.
Yeah.
You don't have a right to not have health insurance. You don't have a right to basically say, you know what, I don't want to have my tax money paying for abortions because I believe that that's murder. I, as a religious person or whatever, and I don't really want my money going into that industry. Oh, you don't have that right because the government says we're taking tax money to give to Planned Parenthood.
All right, so
you see, they can't dispute it, Beck.
I know.
They can't.
Okay,
they can dodge it.
Right.
But they can't dispute it.
All right. I'm going to try to find something that Bill is passionate about when we come back here in just a second. First, let me tell you about Liberty Safes. LibertySafe.com. You can buy a Liberty Safe at a great price right now. Receive 12 months interest-free payments, 0 down, 0 APR. They offer Liberty Safes now for as low as $20 a month, and until June 30th. When is July 1st? Is that Sunday? Yeah, until June 30th. That's this Saturday. Liberty's newest and most advanced handgun vault, the HDX 350, is $299. Plus, you're going to get a free HD 50 key vault with purchase. Been working with Liberty forever. The products that they come out with are so great. You go to Cabela's. Those are Liberty safes. They've just put the label of Cabela's on it. And now people are going into Cabela's and going, these safes are great, but I want a Liberty safe. It's a great brand, and it offers you peace of mind, lifetime warranty, in-home delivery service that is unmatched in the industry, and just a great safe. Act now. Protect what you value most. Always protected with a Liberty safe. Go to LibertySafe.com, the home of the best-built safes on the planet. Go there now, LibertySafe.com. So, Bill, I want to stick with you here for a minute on the announcement yesterday of Kennedy. When you're looking at this and you see the response from the left, which was nuts, and you take into account, what they've been saying recently with Maxine Waters and the red hen, and we'll get into that here in a minute. Does it concern you at all of what we might be headed for this fall?
Well, I don't know if it can get any worse. I mean, we're on the edge of violence now.
Well, that's what I mean. I think we might be headed towards violence.
That's what my column, Virtue Fascism, is about. We're on the edge of violence. Somebody's going to get killed. And the media is directly responsible for that. And again, you can just see what happened last night. I mean, it's this hysteria, and, they're trying to incite, and that's the word.
But not the word of the day. Not the word of the day.
Irrational behavior. No, it's not. That's a little too mundane.
Well, I thought so too.
Incite irrational behavior.
Right.
They are not perspicacious.
That's the word of the day. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So, when they said that's what the left was doing, that's what Fox News and Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly and Sarah Palin said targeting districts. They were looking for that. Now they seem to not only not care about it, I get the sense that they kind of feel like, well, look what Donald Trump's doing. Two can play at this game. That's fine. He's the one that's inciting violence because listen to him at his rallies.
Well, that's not a totally specious, another word of the day, argument. The president has gone too far in his rhetoric.
Yes.
On occasion. Mm-hmm. All right? I mean, any fair-minded person knows that. Mm-hmm. But, Beck, I want you to listen to me closely.
All right.
You do not justify bad behavior by pointing to other bad behavior. That's what fourth graders do. Well, he was worse than I was.
Right.
You don't. That's just ridiculous.
He started it.
But to point out that the rhetoric on the part of Donald Trump has been, destructive on occasion is true.
Yeah. I made an analogy last night that I won't go into on the News and Why It Matters, but I think that Barack Obama was doing the same thing that Donald Trump is doing. He was just doing it with, more class, more refinement, to where he was, walking around the stage and talking about those teabaggers. That's a pretty nasty name to call people. He knew exactly what that was. He was
and the religion and clinging to their Bibles and guns.
Correct. He was just doing it in a less fiery sort of way, or a more classy presidential sort of way. But it's the same kind of stuff. Get in the back of the bus. Get in the back seat. You already drove us into a ditch. Same thing, isn't it?
I don't know if it's the same thing because it's not as specific. See, the problem that Donald Trump has is that he gets so angry that he's very specific. So when there's a demonstrator in front of him at a rally, he goes, well, get that guy out of here.
That's true.
Okay? So that puts the guy in danger. To say you're a teabagger or you're grabbing a Bible, that's a specific thing. Yeah. A non-specific thing, I should say. So that's the difference.
All right. I want to go to Sarah Huckabee Sanders and some of the other things that you have been talking about, Peter Strzok, in a closed-door interview when we come back.
Mercury.
Let's face it, almost nobody gets the daily amount of recommended fruits and vegetables that you're supposed to get. And if it isn't a time issue, it's just that you just don't care. But you should. Now there's an easy, effective way to improve your health, feel better, and get 100% of your daily fruits and vegetables. It's called Field of Greens by Brickhouse Nutrition. Field of Greens is 100% real organic fruits and vegetables, unlike these fake drinks kind of cooked up in a lab or made with cheap extracts. Field of Greens is real food. It's prebiotic, probiotic, and has antioxidant power, plus it tastes great. Just add 1 scoop and you're done. You can take it at home, on the ride to work, at the office, or add it to a dish and get all the benefits without the extra prep. I hate prep. It's too much work. Go to brickhousestew.com, and when you use the offer code STEW, 10% of your order total will be donated to Operation Underground Railroad to fight child trafficking. Feel great because you're healthy, and feel great because you're helping a great cause. It's brickhousestew.com, brickhousestew.com. Offer code is STEW.
We're with Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com. We've got a lot to cover in about the next 9 minutes, and I want to touch on one thing, make sure we get to it. Bill and I have talked about this Independence Fund. He told me about this a few weeks ago, and I think this is really critical and something that really is good. Right now, the Independence Fund has a matching gift campaign that is going on. It's going to end on July 4th. So far, they've raised $1.5 million, and these build wheelchairs, real industrial wheelchairs for our returning vets that need them. And both of us would like to get involved and have you get involved as well. Again, matching dollar for dollar, and that ends on July 4th, and we can really make a difference. Bill?
There's a woman out in California who wants to remain anonymous, but I have spoken with her through, the electronics, who is matching every donation that anyone makes to independencefund.org to get these so-called track chairs. That's the official name, track chairs. And they're electronic chairs. They go on the beach. They go in the forest. You can hunt.
They're amazing.
Yeah, and they give the severely wounded vets who've lost arms, legs, eyes, and brain damage and all that. They give them a sense of independence that they don't have now. That's thus the name independencefund.org. So it's very kind of you to mention it to your vast audience on the radio. Independencefund.org. Just go up there, give as much as you can. It'll be matched by this very patriotic woman in California. And I think we're approaching $2 million now.
That's great.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Each track chair costs $15,000.
All right. Independencefund.org. Independencefund.org. Even if it's $5, please do it. All right, Bill, want to run through a few things. Shouldn't we be allowed to reserve the right to serve or not serve anybody we want? I remember those signs in cafes and everything else years ago. Bakers that, people who think that, bakers don't have to make gay wedding cakes, shouldn't they be supporting Red Hen? And those who believe bakers have to do it, shouldn't they be on the opposite side that they're on right now with Red Hen?
Well, legally, if you are an owner of a business and you want to deny someone service, you can do that unless the person is a designated minority. That's the law.
Right.
So you can't deny African Americans or a religious minority or gays because they're protected. They're protected by law. But anyone else you can deny service to. And then I would not change that law. I think that law is okay. If you have somebody in there who is causing a ruckus and it's not a criminal offense, it's just somebody who's really hurting your business, you should be able to deny them service and get them out of there. So I think the law as it stands is okay.
So why are so many people who say, hey, bakers have to have the right, to follow their conscience? Here's a woman who said, I have, moral standards and ethics that we follow and she doesn't fit them. And she's basically saying, this is my religion, and I want her out. Why are the people who believe it in one case with wedding cakes so against it in this case?
Because they don't like Sarah Huckabee Sanders. That's simple as that.
I'm talking about the reverse. Yesterday, the people who were against Red Hen, they were in the streets actually throwing human feces at people.
You're talking about the people who support the baker on religious grounds, but then
Correct.
Well, I think that they're basically, and I don't know because I haven't spoken to them, but I think you have to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're showing their displeasure that you would be this aggressively unfair to a government worker. And if you think that is bad behavior, you certainly have a right to protest it.
Yeah. We're beyond monkey throwing poop at each other, though, don't you think?
Anybody doing gross but if you want to stand outside Red Hen with a sign saying
you have a right to do that.
The woman is unfair,
right.
You have a perfect right to do that.
Absolutely. 35% now say that it's very likely that we will be in a civil war within 4 years. An additional 11% say they are absolutely sure. So now almost half of the country that have participated in this poll say we're in a civil war in the next 4 years. What does that say to you?
They're right. I think we're here. I don't think the Civil War is coming. I think the social Civil War is underway.
Okay, now, wait a minute. There's a difference between a cold Civil War. I think we've been in a cold Civil War for a while, but we are now entering...
I don't think we're going to have massive violence. I think we're going to have selected violence. But, look, I'm a casualty of the damn thing. Mm-hmm. People paid... far left concerns paid people to lie about me. If that's not war, I don't know what is war. If that's not war.
Yesterday, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yesterday they were talking. Chuck Schumer, Jeffrey Toobin. Is that his name? Jeffrey Toobin. Yeah, Jeffrey Toobin was on CNN, and he said in 18 months, absolutely, positively, Roe versus Wade will be overturned. First of all, he's a vile liar, the man you just mentioned. Wow.
And, it's just disgusting. It really is.
He's a vile liar?
I don't believe that this man goes on to tell the truth at all.
Wow.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Okay. And when you're quoting somebody like who is absolutely, all right, going to put... And as this goes back to the beginning of our conversation, he's absolutely going to try to incite, all right, people to do things they shouldn't do by saying, well, Roe v. Wade is going to be overturned in 18 months. I know it. You don't know anything. That's speculation, all right? It's speculation.
In 18 months, how likely do you think that is to happen?
I don't think it's likely.
I don't either.
So, number one, you have to have a legitimate suit wind its way through the federal system.
Right.
Okay? It just doesn't come out of nowhere.
Right.
And number two, the Supreme Court is not going to be, even if there is a traditional judge appointed, not going to be so enthusiastic about just blowing up something that has been law for a long time and something that half the American people support, at least.
I have 2 minutes left, Bill.
Yeah.
Tell me what your thoughts were on the elections this week, especially with the wins of the Democratic Socialists.
I don't care about the elections this week. The Democratic Socialists in the Bronx and northern Queens won because that is a very, very poor district. and she is a very good campaigner and went around and knocked on the doors and spoke to the folks, and she deserves to win. And the guy that she beat has no connection to that district at all. He's a white guy. This is a very heavily minority district. So I'm not surprised. Does it have any wider implications? No. It's a very, very poor district, and if you're going to tell them you're going to get everything free, they're going to vote for you. And I would, too, if I lived there and had no money. I mean, it's as simple as that. And that's what the woman did. And I'm going to give you everything.
All right. Bill O'Reilly.
Free medical care, free everything.
Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com. And your new book is...
One thing, Beck. Can I jump in?
Real quick.
I sent you an advance copy of Killing the SS. Did you get it?
No, I have not gotten it. I have to have it.
Oh, my God.
I will call you after the show. I want it. I'm going on vacation. I want to read it.
Stu.
Oh, I got one, too?
I sent it to Stu.
Wow.
Well, I'll take his copy if mine doesn't arrive. Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com. Thank you very much, Bill.
All right.